set everything just kind of like 12 o'clock and see what that's.
So this is the default setting?
I don't really know that there is a default setting.
If you want to start it at its base, do you want to start where it's
Sure.
where its base is there?
This weird kind of like rhythmic delay, which is like a really I don't even know how you would have came up with that. I don't even understand what that is.
Right. It's pulling all the delays apart to make up all the reverb.
Oh, okay.
Getting all the outputs separated.
So that's a pretty cool thing. And I guess when you tweak the drag, so the drag is kind of like,
it's what like pulls all the delay lines.
Cool.
To make
This infinite sustain kind of vibe of it is really interesting to me. You can just carry on and carry on and carry on. And
it'll go forever.
yeah, it's wonderful. Let me grow a little bit. Yeah, it does. It will do that. Here, I'll show you. It's just kind of got to let it. See, it's still in there. What I played. Yeah, if you get this link knob up a bit. It'll start to eat itself. Pretty hip.
The Palisades, I guess the story goes is you guys were really not into the idea of doing a tube screamer because there's already 10 billion that exist.
Yeah.
I play with a big pedal board, two really big pedal boards, and my main kind of like distortion tone was a tube screamer, the turbo one, whichever one that is. I don't know which one it is. I stole it from my girlfriend. But that was kind of like my main distortion go-to thing, and then I would have, after that, a little boost pedal, and then another distortion to throw on top of that for when I wanted to go like really gnarly. So that was already taking up, like 3 kind of big spaces on my board that's about that size. So when I saw that they'd come out with this was really exciting because there's a million options in it. There's a buffer switch, there's a bright switch, there's all the bandwidth options, and then the different voicings on it. So on top of that, there's a second gain structure that you could add on top of the first one plus a boost. So when this came out, it was like, made my life a lot easier and freed up a lot of space on my board. Not to mention I A/B'd it against the exact tone that I would usually be using through my setup, and it was 100% better than that. buffer switch is more of a thing that kind of comes through the feel of it.
Yeah, I feel like it makes it feel like it sags a little bit more when you're playing. It's not, it loses a little bit of sparkle when you turn it off, and that's what makes it warm up a bit. It's like more apparent, I feel like, when you're playing, and varies from amp to amp and guitar to guitar.
Sure.
It's a very popular one already amongst guys I know in LA, studio guitar players. Just like the guys I've shown it to, it's blown their mind. They're just like, calling you and asking for them.
I guess a lot of tonal options and the different kinds of.
I just
overtones that
did-
you selected.
Yeah.
I just did a recording at Studio G in Brooklyn with Nels Klein and Mike Watt and Greg Sonnier from Deerhoof. It was just kind of this weird like noise rocky record that we've been talking about doing for a long time. And so I was able to get this, a couple weeks before I went in, and I was playing out of a Princeton Reverb, and my old Fender amp knowledge isn't very awesome, but I know that that's a great amp. But actually, this was literally like my tone for every single song on a 10-song record. Even though that amp already sounded great, I just could dial in anything from like a really thin sounding kind of garage rocky thing to like over the top stuff. So that's definitely a lifesaver for tone wise, and that makes sense that everyone would already be hitting us up to borrow them.
Yeah, oh yeah, people love it. And it's, the fact that you have those three options, and within those, not three options, but anytime it's set up, you have two stages and a boost. And you can mess within that and get pretty much anything that these types of pedals are capable of, I would think,
Pretty awesome.
Yeah,
Stoked on that.
it's great.
Cloven Hoof is a redesigned version of the regular hoof, which
Which
was
is a muff style.
which is this guy. And I guess I don't fully understand. It's the shift knob kind of got a little more detailed, right? You could go further with it.
Yeah, the shift knob controls the mids. So if it's all the way down, it's boosting the mids. As you turn it up, it starts to cut them, which is, what a big muff style Fuzz is famous for, is the scooped mids, but nobody actually likes it.
Right.
Always want more mids, but that's what the sound is. So if you can blend it and set it right where it is, you'll still get that sound, but it'll cut through the mix.
Right. This one's a silicone transistor, correct?
Yeah, and it's designed to be more cutting, like it's a little bit more like biting in the mid area. And
Yeah.
it takes low end in better than the regular hoof does, whereas the regular hoof produces a bit more low end, it's a little bit warmer, a little bit smoother.
Right.
This one's like a little bit, it's grittier, a little bit more harsh, I think.
And it's spectacular on bass. It's unbelievable, I think. I'll do a kind of a back-to-back thing here of the original one and this one. I'll kind of set them up the same. I'll show you the difference here. This is with the fuzz all the way up. This is the original hoof. This is the new one. It keeps this clarity about it, which on a bass is really nice. But I think this one would cut through a mix better, which is important for this instrument.
The Hyper Fuzz.
Yeah.
Okay, so there was this pedal that he and I had like talked about and joked about for years because it's this really, really cool. It's a Boss, right?
Yeah.
It's the Boss Hyper Fuzz, and
It's a Super Fuzz clone.
okay.
I believe. Yeah.
Fieldy from Korn is all about this pedal because it has three settings. It has a boost, a really bad fuzz, and then a really, really good fuzz, the
Right.
mid-rangey one. And Fieldy's all about the bad one.
Yeah.
And
We learned that from watching the Fieldy instructional video.
Right.
There's a fielding instructional video.
It's crazy.
Incredible.
It's like the funniest thing ever.
It's one of these where he's showing stuff and it's like 1, you know, he doesn't know musical language, so he's like, Fred, 1, 5, and he'll be on the 4th one, 7.
Yeah.
And it's like, even the thing is saying 1, 5, or 1, 4, 7. And he's like, 1, 5. So the guy can't count either, which is amazing.
Well, anyways,
It's all comedy.
his whole thing is like he's trying to buy up all the Hyper Fuzz pedals to get them off the market. Well, I found one recently, and it was like kind of the coveted like fuzz tone that I wanted. It was kind of this like converged Kurt Ballou type thing, and I had just gotten that, and then like a week after that, I had gotten a Cloven Hoof, and actually, to me, the Cloven Hoof, when it's on this mid pump, that's basically that Hyper Fuzz sound, but like better. A being those, I was like, whoa, I fucking spent whatever 3 years trying to get a Hyper Fuzz, and then all of a sudden I don't even care about it. So to me, that's like a really super neat guitar tone. Is just that kind of like buzzsaw-y. Siamese Dream tone.
Yeah.
Almost like right up. So that was a really exciting one.
Yeah.
That came out.
Arrows. Arrows is another one, new one. It's a boost, but with a kind of a focused EQ situation, wherein the low end is kind of tightened up, and it's a high mid.
Yeah,
Punch.
like an upper mids boost and like a little bit of high end sparkle to it. It's
Yeah.
just a coloring preamp. It's focused so it pushes other drive pedals. It cuts a little bit of like the full frequency out of it while not making it thin, just so you can push fuzz pedals or other, you know, basically any dirt pedal further, or use your neck pickup to like shave a little bit of low end out of it so it doesn't make it muddy when you're trying to overdrive the amp.
Right. And I've had this whole thing, I've had it on the entire time. Didn't take it off, because it just kind of brings it to life, the tone a little bit, and makes everything else after it sound better. Just a little more, you know, tight to the point. It's things to the point. It's just a volume, so it's a fixed thing and just simple as can be, and just a volume on it for your boosting pleasure. So, it's a wonderful, wonderful sounding thing. I think that's all the new ones. Yeah, but if you want to know about any of the others, we can tell you about them real quick. I don't know if we have time, but
Yeah, we have 10 minutes, so.
okay. Or any questions anyone has about these things?
Do you have questions, or you want us to just kind of play through these?
What's the big hoof? I haven't seen that.
This guy?
Oh, that's a great one.
So this is the old school hoof plus a reaper to make a hoof reaper plus
a tone bender.
Yeah, it's the tone reaper, which is based on like a 3-knob tone bender.
Okay.
Plus-
so it's got like a Fender octave kind of thing on it.
Sort of. It's got a separate analog octave up, and then the tone reaper on one side and the hoof on the other. So it's 3 of our pedals in one.
Yeah.
Okay.
And the analog octave up is kind of like the special thing about that on bass,
Yeah,
right?
it's a very strange effect. You can just have it, you know, which sounds ridiculous on its own and amazing, but if you add everything else to it. with that octave on it really chews up the.
Yeah, there's a lot of talk just about the octave section of it getting added to all the gain stuff, because the octave isn't actually available on anything
No,
else.
it's not, but people ask all the time.
Right.
Yeah.
So that in itself is like a really cool thing.
That's with everything at 12 o'clock. That's without.
Right, that's not even like going super
I mean, it
intense on
seems
it.
like it has a much bigger sweet spot than like the Fender Blender or other things that try to emulate that. Like, you know, it kind of only sounds good like somewhere around here on the guitar,
I've always
and not
found
like the whole thing.
That Fender Blender to be very hard to dial.
Yeah, that's a nice way.
I think that it's easier to grab.
Yeah.
I guess it is. You know, you get the EarthQuaker bag off the pad on it. You can't do like I do and say, "Oh, shit."
This thing with a little bit of tweaking, if you don't mind.
Please.
Don't touch the man's knobs.
I know, I feel weird about it. All right. A lot of options in that.
I need to check the cabinet cans after that.
The terminal, has everyone heard about the terminal too?
No,
It's
that's
kind of
okay.
like a new, well, it's newish. This thing's pretty insane. So, also another insane.
Another flavor.
Yeah, fuzzy fuzz.
Yeah, that one sounds insane on bass too. It's ridiculous. So, get a bit
Is
more.
there kind of like a big crushing thing going on there, or is it fuzz?
It's a fuzz. It's just two transistor stages being pushed really hard. So it's about as broken as it can be before it stops being musical.
Real splattering, crazy sounding. Doesn't like that, which I love about it. Big amp, the low end would come through it a lot better, and it would, but the low end would be huge, and the attack and everything would have this real kind of gross.
Yeah, it
Yeah,
grabs,
Choked.
I like the texture on that.
Yeah,
it grabs on the weird harmonics, and will sometimes just have like a weird vocal sound to it, I think, too, on the bass.
Oh, really?
It's real loud and you're in front of it, it'll just do real weird things. It reacts strange.
Wow. I love it. I love it. Great for your doom band, stoner, whatever, desert
We have time for like
band.
maybe one more question and then we leave the room at 4 o'clock.
Oh, okay. Anybody?
I don't see anybody chomping on the bit to get in
I
here.
know. There are some people in these rocking chairs, maybe they're next.
All right.
Well, thank you for coming and checking these things
I got one
out.
question. Tell me about the big computer thing.
Bit Commander.
Oh, yeah.
This
That's
is
a good one.
definitely like family of EarthQuaker stuff. So a sub octave, a lower octave, and a higher octave. So that's not even with the up in there. And then filter and a bass. So this changes the whole. When you bring in that one. Yeah, you get a really like awesome 8-bit sound out of
Yeah.
it too. Tracks really well. I used to use Blue Box
Yep.
for like a really particular sound, but that just has like the volume and the amount on it, and there was a volume drop on it, and so once that thing came out, that was
tracked with that thing before. And
yeah.
Blue Box.
This thing
Yeah.
is definitely like
It was a great idea.
What we did is we then tracked it like 3 times and then just edited it together to get
Yeah.
rid of all the dropouts.
That pedal's really interesting as like another bass flavor. Doing a bass on guitar, it just has a synth. You know, you can do some weird
yeah.
effects with it. You know. Tracks really nicely. Dance nicely as one of these good.
I like it. Yeah, I like it.
Without any.
Oh, well, that's actually really cool. That is like, this is like Fuzz, and then you join it with bass. I like that with a chorus on it too. Yeah.
Phasers after.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So yeah, if you're into synth stuff, it's definitely kind of like little bits of synth in almost all of this. You can kind of get it synthed out. For sure. Cool. All right. Right on. Awesome. Cool. Thank you, everybody.